So in your screen, is it showing that the recording is started? Okay, now it's started.
Yes, sir. In our screen.
Okay, so today we start a new chapter which is called the single phase transformer. So in your syllabus, the single phase transformer construction, the principle of operation, all the test, all these things is there. Apart from this, the three phase transformer winding connection. So let's start with this transformer. Now, what is the definition of the transformer? So according to the definition, it's a static device. What is called a static device? Static device means inside this transformer there is no rotating parts, like a machine. So in case of generator or motor, there is a rotating part. Something is rotated inside this device. So this is called a rotating device. But transformer is a completely static device. There is no rotating part inside this transformer or the dynamic parts. So transformer consists of two winding, which is called the primary winding and the secondary winding, and they are completely electrically isolated. So here you see, this is the primary winding and this is the secondary winding, but there is no electrical connection, direct electrical connection between the two windings. They are completely electrically isolated, but they are linked with a magnetic circuit. So this is the magnetic circuit which is from the core. So they are interlinked with a magnetic circuit. So this is the definition of the single phase transformer. Two electrical winding completely isolated from each other, but they are linked with some magnetic circuit. Now, here you see, this is actually the primary winding of the transformer. Generally, we denote the primary quantity by a suffix 1, like the I1, E1, N1, and the secondary quantity by suffix 2, like N2, E2, I2, like this one. Now, what is this I1? I1 is the primary winding current. E1 is the primary winding voltage, induced voltage. N1 is the primary winding number of turns. That how many turns are there in this primary winding. Similarly, for the N2, the primary secondary number of turns. E2, secondary induced voltage. I2, secondary current, secondary winding current, and the load voltage is called the secondary terminal voltage. Similarly, this voltage, AC supply voltage, which you apply across the primary winding, is called the primary supply voltage, or the primary supply voltage. And this is the core. But this core is not constructed directly just taking a iron piece, solid iron piece. To minimize the eddy current loss, which I will discuss later, what is called the eddy current loss, this core is laminated. Now, what is called the laminated? What is called the lamination? Before we go for the lamination, this part, this horizontal part of the core is called the limb, LIMB, and this one is called the yoke, YOQ. This vertical, this horizontal part is called the yoke. This vertical part is called the limb. And generally, the windings are placed on the limbs. Like this primary winding is placed on the left side limb of this particular core, and the secondary winding is placed in the right side limb of this core, and this part is called yoke. Now, the function, principle of operation of the transformer is that when we apply a AC source across the primary winding, first of all, you need to understand that transformer never works on DC. If we apply a DC circuit, transformer is not able to operate. Transformer works only on AC supply. So if we apply AC supply across the primary winding of the transformer, then what happens? AC current will flow through this particular winding. Now this is nothing but a solenoid. If a AC current flows through a solenoid, then what happens? Magnetic lines of force generated. And these magnetic lines of flux find a very low reluctance path through this core, because the flux can also fly through the air. The flux can travel through the air also. But this magnetic material, or this soft iron material, gives a very low reluctance path to the flow of this flux generated by the primary winding. So this flux travels like this one through the core. And as the flux is generated by the circulation of AC current through the winding, that's why the nature of the flux is also AC. Now, when this AC flux is linked with the secondary winding of the transformer, according to Faraday's law, some voltage will induced across it. So this voltage is called E2. And if the secondary circuit is closed by a load, then some current will flow through it. This is called the secondary winding current. This is the very basic operation of the transformer. So we need to apply some voltage across the transformer primary winding. Then what is the difference between that voltage and E1? Because there is no resistance connected to this one between this, so they should be same, but not. This E1 is actually called the primary induced voltage, because when you apply some AC source across a solenoid, then after calculating the losses across the solenoid, whatever be the voltage remain, that voltage is actually produce this flux. So this voltage is called E1, or the primary induced voltage. When you apply this supply voltage to the transformer primary winding, some voltage will be induced across it. This voltage is called the primary induced voltage. Okay, and I1 is called the primary current. Now, when E1 is induced across this one, then some flux will generate, and that flux will link with the secondary coil. And as the AC flux is linked with another winding, some voltage will induced across the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, and due to this, some voltage is induced across the secondary winding. And if the secondary circuit is closed, then current will flow through this one. This is the very basic operation of the transformer. Now, why the core should laminate it? Because if the core is not laminated, when the supply current is there, when the flux is generated through the core, then some AD current will be there. What is called the AD current? AD current is the not predefined current.
কিন্তু ভাত একদম কম দেবে
ভাত খেতে খেতে ক্লাস করো না। So let's understand what is called the AD current. Suppose I take a solid iron core. This one is a solid piece of iron. And if the core is constructed using this one, then when the flux is traveled through this particular core, solid core, then what happens? Some current will flow, and that current will not flow any particular direction. They can be flow haphazardly inside this one. Suppose this is one particular current, that is another particular current. So through the core, some not predefined path, the current will start flowing, and due to this current, what happened? The temperature of the core will increase. So as this current path is not predefined, that's why they are called AD current, EDDY. Okay, so what is the bad effect of the AD current to flow through the core? After some time, it heated up the core. Okay, so how to prevent this one? We need to decrease the area of the core. How to decrease the area of the core? So that's why the core is laminated like this one. So here you see, this core is laminated. So here you see, this is a rectangular core, but this rectangular core is constructed using this type of double L lamination. So this is a very thin sheet of iron, same material, but this is a very thin sheet, one piece. And we take so many number of pieces and we join together to make a solid 3D form. This, if you just, if I show you this lamination, it may be the 2D form, because the width of this laminated core is very small. But we take so many number of cores, so many number of these laminated sheets, and we join together to form either this type of winding, this type of core, or this type of core. This is UI core. This is the shape of U, and this is the shape of I. So this I is placed in the top of the U to form a rectangular core. Similarly, we can take a double L pattern. For the shell type transformer, where a center limb will present, we can take EI lamination. So this lamination looks like a E, and this is like a I. So this I is placed in this position to form a rectangular core with a central limb, same as the EE lamination also. Okay, so we use the laminated core to reduce the AD current. So a single phase transformer consists of primary and secondary winding put on a magnetic core. Why it is called magnetic core? Because this core help us to flow the magnetic flux, where the losses are very less, because the reluctance, what is called the reluctance? Reluctance means it's a property of the material through which this magnetic flux opposes. So low reluctance means very low opposition will be there in this path. So magnetic flux, which is generated by the primary winding, can flow easily through the core if you use this particular material, high grade silicon steel. So magnetic core is used to confine flux to defined path. So transformer cores are made from thin sheets of high grade silicon steel. They are called lamination. The laminations reduce the AD current losses, and the silicon steel reduce the hysteresis losses. So later, when I will talk about this core loss, then there are two types of core loss. One is called the AD current loss, and another is the hysteresis loss. So then we discuss in details that what is the hysteresis loss and how to reduce the hysteresis loss. But in this time, in the beginning of the class, just to remember that laminated core is used to reduce the eddy current loss, and silicon steel, this is the material of this core, is used to reduce the hysteresis loss. Now, these lamination are insulated from each other. Why they are need to be insulated? Because if there is no insulation between the lamination, then there is no difference between this laminated and this one. Now, if they are laminated, if they are insulated like this one, suppose they are insulated, suppose this thin sheet of material is made like this laminated core. So laminated core means so many materials are joined together, but between them some insulation should be there, some varnish will be there, which is placed as an insulating material. Now, so you see the travel distance of the current is now reduced. How? Because now the current is not able to flow from this laminated sheet to that laminated sheet, because there are some insulation between the laminated sheet. They may be flow through like this one, no issues, but they cannot flow between the laminated sheet. The current is not able to flow like this, because if the current wants to flow like this one, then they need to cross the sheets, and between the sheets some laminated materials are there. So these sheets are electrically isolated from each other using the help of lamination to reduce the eddy current loss. So as the travel distance will less, the current is not able to flow through a long distance. Obviously, the current magnitude is reduced, the eddy current loss is also reduced. So L-type and E-type laminations are used to form the core. Now, according to the construction of the single phase transformer, there are two basic constructions. One is called the core type transformer, another is called the shell type transformer. Here you see, this is actually the core type transformer, and this is actually the figure. Here you see, this is the laminated core, and on this limb, left and right limb, the windings are placed. But the windings are not placed in the ideal way, which are shown here, like this one. The primary winding is placed here, secondary winding is placed here. It's not like this one. Rather, the windings are placed like this. The low voltage winding is placed first around the core. Then on the top of the low voltage winding, the high voltage, HV means the high voltage, or the primary windings are placed like this. And as the wire used to form the core are also laminated, so if two wires are touched to each other, then they are also electrically insulated, because the wires are insulated using the varnish. So that means if two wires are touches each other, it's not like that they are connected. They are completely electrically isolated. So that means here you see the primary winding, the high voltage windings and low voltage windings are joined together, but they are actually isolated from each other. 1 minute, please. Okay. So this is called the core type transformer. So here, all these things are written in detail. Here you see the low voltage winding is placed first, then the high voltage. This is actually the cut section view, and that is actually the 3D view of this one. So if you just take a cut section of this one, it looks like this. First is the low voltage winding around the limb, then around the low voltage winding, the high voltage windings are placed. First low voltage, then high voltage. Why? All these things is written, whatever I'm saying, this thing is written here. So question is that why the low voltage winding is placed first? Why not the high voltage winding placed at the top, at the limb, and then the high voltage winding? Why this low voltage winding or this green color winding is placed first, then the high voltage winding? So any question regarding this?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, এই অ্যাকচুয়ালি লো ভোল্টেজ ওয়াইন্ডিং এন্ড হাই ভোল্টেজ ওয়াইন্ডিংটাই বুঝতে পারছি না।
Low voltage
কেন?
winding means, okay, 1 minute.
কেন, লাইক
1 minute, please.
স্যার ওই এডি কারেন্টটা স্যার একবার যদি রিপিট করে দিতেন। এডি
ওটা
কারেন্ট
স্যার পরে এক্সপ্লেইন
Eddy current আমি পরে বোঝাবো. What is called the eddy current, I will describe it later. So in your lab, is it already completed this open circuit test and short circuit test of the transformer?
ইয়েস স্যার, ইয়েস স্যার।
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that time I explained this aquarium principle.
Yes sir, you explained that aquarium principle.
Yeah. So this is actually the eddy current. Means if a normal aquarium is there, then the fish can flow through the aquarium.
No, sir,
That
I'm
means
not
eddy
saying
current will
about
be
the
there.
eddy current.
But
I'm
if we just segregate the aquarium by some sheets, then you see the travel distance or the area of travel of the fish is reduced. So that means the fish can able to swim in a very narrow area. So as the narrow area is there, so the this thing is not tired. The fish will not be tired just doing the swim like this one. So as the current is not able to flow through a long area, large area, so that means the current is travel through a small loop. Eddy current is a very normal thing. So, but the current is flow through a very small loops, and that's why the current magnitude is less, and this will produce a very less amount of heat. So in this way, we can reduce the eddy current loss just to reduce the core area. And high voltage and low voltage winding means, so here you see in this diagram there are two number of turns, one is N1, another is N2. Now depending upon the number of turns, if the number of turns is more in a particular side, then the voltage across this side is also more. So N1, if the N1 is high, okay, 1 minute. So if this N1 is high compared to this N2, then what happened? Then the voltage, this E1 is also high compared to E2. So whatever be the number of turns is high compared to the other number of turns in the other winding, this winding voltage is more. So that's why depending upon the number of turns, suppose this voltage is V1 and this terminal voltage is V2. So depending upon the number of turns, either the V1 is greater than V2. So what is the condition for V1 greater than V2? The number of turns in the primary winding is more than the number of turns in the secondary winding. Or we can say the V2 is more compared to V1. So if N2 is more compared to N1, then V2 is greater than V1. So that's why you see the supply voltage sometime more compared to the terminal voltage of the transformer, or sometimes you see the terminal voltage of the transformer or the output voltage of the transformer sometime more compared to the supply voltage. So based on this one, either the transformer is called the step down transformer or the step up transformer. So it means that sometime we need to increase the voltage for different purposes. So in that time we must use a step up transformer where the output of the transformer is more compared to the input of the transformer. And sometime for different purposes we need to decrease the amount of voltage compared to our supply. So in this time we must use this type of transformer where V1 is more compared to V2. Or you can say the V2 is less compared to V1, and this is called the step down transformer. All this thing is happened based on the number of turns. If we placed more number of turns in the primary, this primary voltage is obviously more compared to the terminal voltage V2. And if we place less number of turns in the primary, then this V1 is less compared to V2. All these things will come later. So question is that why the low voltage winding is placed first, then the high voltage winding. Okay, so as you know, the transformer, the power is remain what? In case of
same, sir. In
in
transformer,
case
the
of
power
primary
is
and secondary winding, what are the quantities remain constant? I think I have mentioned it in this lab class. Three quantities are remain constant in the primary as well as in the secondary winding of the transformer, which are power, frequency. These two are called the electrical quantity. So frequency of, as this transformer works only in AC, so AC means one frequency should be there. So whatever be the excitation frequency of the transformer, that frequency remains same in the secondary, and the power is also remains same in the primary and secondary. This is coming from the conservation of energy. So whatever be the energy you are supplying to the transformer, the same energy will be transferred. Obviously in the other form in the voltage may be increased, voltage may be decreased. So if the voltage is suppose V1 is greater than V2. So if the secondary voltage is decreased compared to the primary voltage, then what about the secondary current? What is the relation between I1 and I2?
So
sir,
I1
I2 is
will be
more.
greater.
Yes, sir.
I2 will be greater than I1.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, the power is not able to remain constant. So if I1 is also greater than I2, then the multiplication of V1 I1 is greater than V2 V2. So that means power is not remain constant. So that means if the voltage is increased in some of the sides, obviously the current will decrease in that side. Now, So if the current is, so in case of low voltage winding, what about the current compared to the high voltage winding? In which winding the current is more? Low voltage winding means where the
Low,
voltage is low, and high voltage winding means where the voltage is high.
sir, in low
Sir, low
voltage
voltage
winding, the current is more.
In low voltage winding, the current is,
More.
yes. So in case of low voltage winding, as the power is remain constant, so in case of low voltage winding, the current is high compared to the high voltage winding. High voltage means here in this winding, the voltage is very high. So as the voltage is very high, the current is definitely be very low because their multiplication is remain same. So that's why you need to know that is the more accurate term compared to the primary or secondary winding, because as you are first year student, so that means the transformer winding may be denoted by primary or the secondary winding, but more practical name of these windings are high voltage winding or the low voltage winding, because we are talking about the power transformer where the voltage is actually high or low compared to the other side voltage. So that's why this primary or secondary winding is not used in a practical world. Rather, the low voltage or high voltage windings are used. And you need to know that low voltage winding means the current is high, and high voltage winding means the currents are low. Now, how to construct this winding? How to construct a low voltage
Sir,
winding and a high voltage winding?
ভোল্টেজ কম হলে কারেন্ট বেশি হচ্ছে, এটা মানে বুঝতে পারলাম না, আরেকবার বলুন।
Power same. If
আচ্ছা,
the
মানে
power is
পাওয়ার
same,
কনজাম্পশনের জন্য ওটা এরকম হচ্ছে।
yes, power same means,
আচ্ছা,
power
আচ্ছা।
means, just remember one thing, that power is nothing but the multiplication of voltage and current. In
Hmm.
case of DC, that thing is happening. In case of AC, you need to multiply the cos phi between this one. But
Hmm.
apparent power is nothing but the multiplication of voltage and current. So if
Hmm.
V into I is remain constant, so if we
Hmm.
increase the V, then we need to decrease the I.
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, বুঝতে পেরেছি
So
বুঝতে
that's why
পেরেছি।
VI constant in both the sides. Now, suppose this is a low voltage winding. This is low voltage winding and this is the high voltage winding. I want to draw the wear characteristic. That means this is nothing but a winding. So how the winding is actually made? This winding is nothing but made using the wear. Suppose this is the low voltage winding. This is the wear size of the low voltage winding. And this one is the, sorry, and this one is the wear size of the high voltage winding. Why? Because you see the width of the low voltage winding wire is very high, because that winding need to be carry a large amount of current compared to this winding. That's why the size of the winding is very thick. This winding is constructed using a thick wire to carry the more amount of current. And this high voltage means what? High voltage means low current. So this winding need to be carry very less amount of current. So less amount of current means the winding is actually constructed using a thin wire. Now, which one is costlier? If we take the same amount of length, which wire is costlier?
Sir, the low voltage one.
Low voltage, because this one is the costlier.
Yes, sir.
Cost is very high here and cost is low here. Why? Because this one is very easy to understand, because cost is nothing but the material cost. How much copper is used to make this wire? So everybody can easily understand that more amount of copper is required to construct this wire compared to this one. This is a very thick, so less amount of copper is required, and only the copper price is considered here. So that means this one is the costly wire compared to this one. Now,
স্যার,
everybody,
লো ভোল্টেজ ওয়্যারে তো রেজিস্ট্যান্সটাও বেশি হবে,
কেন বেশি হবে?
মানে
Thick
তার
wire, thick wire cross section বেশি, resistance is depend upon what? Rho into L by A. So rho is same for both the, because same type of material is
আচ্ছা,
used to
রেজিস্ট্যান্স
construct
কম
the-
হবে, এটা
হ্যাঁ, কম
এটা
তো
তখন
হবেই।
বাড়ছে। হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, ঠিক, রেজিস্ট্যান্স কম হবে ওটার
Resistance
ক্ষেত্রে।
তো কম হবে
ঠিক
না, rho
ঠিক
into
ঠিক
L
ঠিক।
by A. L
হুম হুম
fixed,
হুম।
L a cross section
এল
area
ফিক্সড,
is
হ্যাঁ।
high.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
বুঝতে পেরেছি।
Inversely proportional to area.
yes. So that means
হুম।
resistance is less here. So we are not talking about the resistance here. We are talking about the which one is the most costlier. So costly wire, this one is the costliest compared to this one, because more amount of copper is required to construct this wire. Now everybody want to decrease the manufacturing cost. Everybody want to, because otherwise it may not be sell properly. Now, if I just suppose this is our winding, this is one limb of our winding. Now, this is a limb of our core. Now, if I placed the high voltage winding first, suppose I am placing the high voltage winding first. Okay. This is my high voltage winding. It wound first. Then on the top of the high voltage winding, if I wound the low voltage winding, suppose I am drawing in the another color. Suppose on the top of the high voltage winding, if I wound the low voltage winding, then the low voltage winding requirement is more. Why? Why this thing is required more? Just look here. So this is our laminated core. So on the core, if we first think about this situation where we first wound the high voltage winding. So if we wound the high voltage winding, then the diameter of the winding is increases. On the top of this one, if we just wound the low voltage winding, then the wear requirement or the material copper requirement for the low voltage winding is more. And if we just take this one, this is one of the wear, this is one of the wear, and this is another wear. So which one you use to more? Which one you want to use more? Obviously,
Sir,
this one.
second one, yes, sir.
Second one, yes, sir.
Because if the length is fixed, then nothing will happen. But if the length is not fixed, if the length is variable, then we try to use this wear as low as possible, because this is a very high costlier wear compared to this one. More amount of copper is required to construct this wear. That's why on the limb, first we use the low voltage winding, because this one is used to construct a high cost, this winding. Then on the top of this one, the high voltage winding. The high voltage winding means it's a very thin wear, so very less cost. So that's why in case of court type transformer, first the LV winding is placed, then on the top of the LV winding, because once we place the LV winding, the diameter will increase and we need to use more amount of wire for the high voltage winding. But high voltage winding is less costlier compared to the low voltage winding. That's why we place it here. Okay, so this is called the court type transformer. Come to this one, another type of construction is also there, which is called the shell type transformer. All this thing is written here. Now just explain this one. This is actually the shell type transformer. This is also called a sandwich type transformer, because not only the one high voltage and one low voltage winding placed, rather the so many high voltage and low voltage windings are placed like a sandwich. So here you see this is actually the cut section of the same figure. Not this one, same figure like this one. Here the windings are placed in the central limb. Apart from the left and right limb, there is one central limb. This part is called the limb. So on the central limb, the windings are placed. The windings are placed like this one: high voltage, low voltage, high voltage, low voltage, like this, to make a shell type transformer. So here you see low voltage, then high, then low, then high, then low, then high, then low, and like this one. Now, the principle of operation is same, because once we energize one of the winding, suppose the low voltage winding, the flux are generated, and this flux is linked with the high voltage winding also. So in case of high voltage winding, some voltage will induce like this one. So principle of operation are same for both the type of shell and core type transformer. But why? Sometimes we use the Dix type. This is also called a Dix winding or sandwich winding. So why we need to construct the shell type construction or the core type transformer? The comparison is here. This is the core type and this is the shell type transformer. Comparison is that first point is that the core type transformer is easier to repair, because the winding can be reopened by the mechanics very easily. They are placed at the outer limbs. This one is called the limb. This part and this part is called the limb. This part is also called limb, but this is the central limb. This one is placed centrally. So for a mechanics to repair, to remove this winding is very difficult job. Once you see the actual transformer, this is a very difficult job for the mechanics to bring out the winding from the central limb. But for the outer limb, they are very easy to repair. This is the first point. The shell type transformer gives better mechanical support against electromagnetic forces. What is the meaning of this one? Because this is nothing but a winding, and when the transformer is in operation, some current, huge amount of current actually needed to flow through the winding for the low voltage, and less amount of current is need to be flow through the high voltage winding. So winding is actually carrying the current, and the wires are placed very close together. You see so many wires are actually placed very close together. They are not connected each other, they are insulated, but they are placed very close together. And when we placed some wire close together, and if all the wires are actually carrying the current, it becomes a solenoid. So that means some repulsive force are there between the wires. and due to this repulsive force, some vibration you can observe for the higher rating of the transformer. So this mechanical force can be withstood by the shell type transformer easily compared to this core type transformer, because you see here you can observe some forces, some repulsive forces in the winding. This is a very common thing. It can happen in all these types of transformer, but as you see the force are in the outer side, so it is not a very stable design compared to this one. Here also we can observe the force between the windings where, but as it is placed in the central limb, that's why it give better mechanical support compared to this one. And all these things we can observe for a very high rated transformer. For a small transformer, for 5 ampere or 5 kVA or 10 or 2 kVA, we cannot observe such amount of force. But suppose 100 kVA, 500 kVA transformer, the amount of force is very high, and in that time we must use this shell type transformer for a better mechanical support. Otherwise, if we use that type of transformer, we need a very strong mechanical structure to hold that particular core type transformer. Rather, if we use the shell type transformer, the mechanical support for holding the transformer in a particular place is less. And obviously in India, less means the less cost. And if we are happy if something is acceptable with a very less cost. So obviously we go for this design where the cost is low. We can solve our purpose in both the type of transformer, but here we need to hold the transformer in a strong way compared to this one. Okay. So these forces are considerable magnitude under short circuit condition. So shell type transformer gives better mechanical support. Now shell type transformer also has an advantage. It also provides a shorter magnetic path. So shorter magnetic path means, just look at the previous figure. So when this one is actually generating the magnetic flux, the magnetic flux is half part of the magnetic flux is flow through this path, and half part of the magnetic flux is flow through this path. So you see the travel distance of the magnetic flux is actually reduced compared to this particular winding. Here the fluxes need to be flow, all the fluxes need to be flow like this. So that means the chances of flux losses is more compared to this shell type transformer in core type transformer. Nowadays we have a very good design where this flux loss is very negligible, but in case of ordinary design, low cost transformer, this is a acceptable losses will be there, and in that type we always prefer the shell type transformer. So in this way, and also this cooling, because they are actually heated up after sometimes the transformer is heated up. For a high rated transformer, we need to provide some of the cooling system to cool down the winding, and the natural cooling is very good for this type of transformer, because the windings are placed in the outer side, but as you see where the windings are placed in the inside of the transformer, so the natural cooling is less in this type of transformer. So every design, core type of shell type, there are certain advantage and certain disadvantage. So based on your use, based on your budget, based on your requirement, you need to choose which type of transformer you need to buy from the market, core type of shell type, because every design have some advantage as well as some disadvantage also. So that was
cooling.
Yes, cooling means?
Please repeat. I cannot understand.
Cooling means, suppose a winding is there, or if we just think about the winding is nothing but a conductor. So this conductor carries the current. So once the conductor carries the current, I square loss should be there. And what is the result of I square loss? Heat will produce. So for a higher rated transformer, where the transformer winding need to carry a high amount of current, the heat generation is also very high. So for higher rated transformer, we need to provide some cooling system. And for the low rated transformer, the normal air cooling is required. So for cool down the transformer winding during the operation of the transformer, the core type transformer is a good choice compared to the shell type transformer. Okay, because in case of shell type transformer, the heat is generated inside the core, and in case of core type transformer, the heat is generated at the surface of the core. So which heat easy to dissipate? Obviously the heat which is generated at the surface. Now come to this one. Up to this one, that was the basic operation of the transformer and the construction of the transformer. Now we go for the electrical.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, a transformer can act both as a step up and step down.
Yes.
Depending upon our needs, we just have to change the connections, right?
Yes.
Okay. I thought that step up transformers are different and step down are different. Both
No, no,
are
step
like
up and transformer, step up, step down transformer are not different. If you just
change the connection. If I
means
just change the connection.
theoretically, if you just interchange the terminal, then the step up transformer become the step down transformer. But practically, we are not doing this one due to some of the restriction. But theoretically, if you means as a first year student, you just need to understand whatever is the step up transformer. If you just reverse the connection, it becomes the step down transformer. But practically, we have a separate transformer for step up and step down. Now, before you go further, uh, we need to know that why the transformer is required. Suppose this is my power plant. This is my power plant, and this power plant is situated in a remote area to generate the power. Why it is situated in the remote area? Why not it is situated at the heart of the city where the power is consumed? And suppose this is our city. This is our city where so many, sorry, very bad drawing. So suppose this is our city, and here we actually use the generated power. Now, due to so many reasons, this power plant is not situated in the heart of the city, because one is the pollution issue, second one is the safety issue. Because if some accident will happen in case of in the power plant, then it may create so many casualties if the power plant is situated very near to the city. That's why generally the power plant, also this pollution issue, because when the power is generated, this one is actually continuously emerging some poisonous gas. So due to this reason, the power plant is situated in the remote area, like the hilly areas, or in case of remote area. So that power which is generated remotely need to bring to this load center, or you can say the city, using the transmission line. Now suppose this transmission line is 100 km long. So transmission line is constructed using the aluminum wire. One common sense, one general knowledge, which is the best conductor in the earth?
Sir, I think gold.
Sir,
Very
silver.
No,
Sir,
correct
gold.
answer is the gold. That's
Gold.
why you see all the motherboard processor is
Yeah.
actually, the pins are actually laminated with the gold plate lamination. So gold is the most good conductor in the area, because the resistance of the gold is very, very low. But think about the situation for the 100 km line. If we construct the transmission line using the gold, so in the next day nothing will be left in India, obviously. So that's why generally you use the, obviously the copper is also very good conductor, but copper is costlier than the aluminium. That's why these transmission overhead transmission wires are constructed using the aluminium. Now aluminium has a resistance. Now, to conduct the electricity in 100 km, and how much voltage is required in your home for the domestic purpose?
So 220 volt.
220 volt.
So it's equal to 220 volt, and for the industrial purpose it's equal to 440 volt. That means actually in our city we require a 440 volt, because using a step down transformer we can easily decrease the voltage from 440 to 220. So 440 volt is required in our city. But if we only generate the 440 volt at the power plant side, then what happened? Due to this huge amount of transmission loss of 100 km, nothing will get at the receiving end side. We'll get zero voltage. So it's become useless. So that means the voltage which is generated in the power plant need to be step up. In case in the rating of kilovolt. So in order of kilovolt, then this kilovolt is transmitted here, because you see when the voltage is increased, then the current is decreased, because this is done using a step up transformer. And if the voltage, output voltage is very high, then the current will less, and this current will produce very little amount of I square R loss, because transmission of the voltage is not a problem, transmission of the current is problem, because when you want to transmit the current, it produces the huge amount of loss. Voltage will not produce any loss, current will produce the I square R loss. And if we decrease the amount of current, the losses will also decrease. So this kilovolt is also useless, because in our home we are not using the kilovolt. So in that side we need to decrease that kilovolt in the range of this 440 volt or 220 volt, which is required by the this domestic purpose or the industrial purpose. So that's why the device which is actually step up the power plant generated voltage to this range is called the step up transformer, and the device which is, or the transformer which is decrease the voltage to use by the load center is called the step down transformer, and they are actually helping to power transmission purpose. That's why this type of transformer is called the power transformer. Whatever we are talking about this up to this, these are all for the power transformer. We also have a isolation transformer. Think about the condition: if the N1, that means the primary number of turns, is exactly equal to the secondary number of turns, then what happen? What will be the voltage across the primary and secondary?
Sir, it will
Voltage
remain
will be
equal.
same.
They are same. So that means whatever be the voltage we give to the transformer input, we are getting the same amount of voltage. But what is the name of the transformer then? It is neither step up or not step down. So what is the name of that transformer? This transformer exists, and generally everybody's home this type of transformers are there inside their mobile charger. So what is the name of this transformer? This one is called the isolation transformer, because this transformer is not used just to step up or step down voltage, because they are the voltage is same. So why you use the transformer? To understand this one, you need to remember one thing, that transformer has two windings, and these two windings are completely electrically isolated. They are not connected each other. So that means if one problem is there in this winding, suppose this is a primary winding and suppose this is a secondary winding. So if problem is happen in this winding, this problem is not able to transmit to the secondary winding, because they are completely electrically isolated. If some short circuit occurs here, no effects are there. If some short circuit happen inside your mobile phone, inside your mobile charger, then your mobile is not getting damaged, because there is a completely isolation. And who is actually isolate this one? One of the device is this isolation transformer. Got it? This is a separate thing, but we have the transformer where the primary and secondary number of turns are same. But we are actually talking about the transformer where the primary and secondary have different number of turns, and they are actually used to power transmit or distribute. This one is called the power transmission purpose. This one is called actually the power distribution purpose. So the transformer which is used to power transmit and distribution purpose is called the power transformer. Now come to this one, EMF equation of the single phase transformer, that as I mentioned, some voltage is induced in the winding. So what is the formula for this voltage? You see, when we apply some voltage across the transformer primary side, then some voltage is induced here. So what will be the formula for this induced voltage? So this is called the EMF equation of the transformer. Okay, so when a source of alternating voltage is applied at coil 1 means it may be the high voltage, maybe the low voltage, depending on the time, the alternating current flows through it. It's very easy to understand. One winding is there. If we apply the DC current will flow. If we apply the AC current will flow through it. So this alternating current produce an alternating flux phi m in the magnetic circuit. This one is also very easy to understand. So any problem up to the first paragraph? Winding is there. If we apply the AC current will flow because the windings are closed, and it will produce some AC flux. Any problem in the first paragraph? No. Am I connected?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this question you can able to answer, but when I ask, is there any problem? No answer. So no answer may be that nobody can understand or everybody can understand. So now the second line, let the flux at any instant is given by, as this is the AC flux. So what is the formula for AC? Phi m sin omega t. This is the basic sine wave formula, and we take the phi as a reference. Why we take the phi as a reference? Because as I told you during the series RLC or parallel RLC circuit, that whatever be the quantity is most common in the circuit, we should take it as a reference. And here you see so many quantities are there: primary applied voltage, induced voltage, secondary voltage, all these things, but they are not related to each other. They are completely electrically isolated. But what are the quantity which is remain constant? One is flux, power, and frequency. So here, as we're dealing with the flux, so we should take flux as the reference quantity, because this one is common for both the primary as well as in the secondary winding. And as this is the AC flux, so phi equal to phi m sin omega t, this is our equation number 1. The instantaneous EMF induced in coil of n turns linked by the flux is given by Faraday's law. Okay, what is the formula? formula is this one, E equal to d phi dt. Actually the formula is that the induced EMF E equal to d phi, if the phi is the flux which is linked by the coil, d phi dt. Okay. Now why we put n here? Because here n number of turns are there. This one is actually the voltage induced per turn, and if there are n number of turns, so total voltage induced is n into this one. Why we put a minus sign? Why we put a minus sign? Why we put a minus sign here? We put a minus sign because that voltage, that induced voltage, do you know why the minus sign is there?
Sir, because the induced voltage is in the opposite direction of the flux.
Very good. How the flux is generated? Why the flux is generated in this coil? Forget about everything. Just tell me about this simple answer. A winding is there, and a AC source is connected, and obviously as it is connected, some current, say I current, will flow through it. Okay. So after the flow of I current through this winding, what will happen? Some flux will generate. Okay. I think nobody have any problem to understand this one. This is a winding. If the winding carries a I current, then some flux will generate. Isn't anybody have any confusion regarding this?
No, sir.
Now, according to Lenz's law, according to this scientist's law, Lenz's law, this phi, or the voltage induced here, not the phi, the voltage induced here, this is called the induced voltage. Voltage across the solenoid, or you can say the voltage across the inductor. So this voltage is actually try to minimize its cause. Why the voltage is induced? Due to this phi. How the phi is generated? Due to this current flow. Because unless the current is flow, no voltage will generate. So this voltage is actually try to oppose its cause. That means current flow. That means if in a particular time this side is positive, then this side is also positive in the same time. So that means this one is actually tried to oppose by sending another current. So that means this current is actually reduced in case of inductor. This is developed by the scientist Lenz. So that's why a minus sign is there. Minus sign is there means this induced voltage is actually tried to oppose that supply voltage V all this time. This is the nature. Who produce you? You actually goes against him or her. So that's why minus sign is there. Now, if we just replace the value of phi, it's become minus n d phi dt. Just replace the value of phi from equation 1, it's become d dt of phi m sin omega t. Do this calculation. Ultimately, it is coming n omega phi m sin omega t minus pi by 2. Okay. So equation 2, this is actually our equation 2. So equation 2 can be written as EM. E equal to, E means the induced voltage across the winding. E equal to EM sin omega t minus pi by 2. Where this EM equal to n phi omega phi m. This is the maximum value of this generated voltage. Because this generated voltage is also AC. So AC has a maximum value. So this is the maximum value EM, which is actually n omega phi m. Okay, what is called n? N is the number of turns. What is called phi m? This is not a omega m, this is actually the phi m. What is phi m? Phi m is the maximum flux, and omega means the angular frequency. Now for a sine wave, the RMS value of EMF is given by E equal to EM maximum value by root 2. You have already derived this one, that RMS value, or the root mean square value, is nothing but the maximum value by root 2. So E equal to ERMS equal to E, which is equal to EM by root 2. Now EM equal to phi m n omega by root 2. Now if we just break the omega means 2 pi f. So 2 pi f, and do the calculation, it's coming E equal to 4.44 phi m n f, where this phi m is the maximum value of the flux, n is the number of turns in that particular winding, f is the frequency of excitation. So this equation number 4 is called the EMF equation of a transformer. So this is a very important question. Many times it came in the semester examination. Derive the EMF equation of a single phase transformer, and this is the answer. You need to start from this one. You need to write up to this, and it gives the marks 5. This will be the 5 marks question, and you need to derive up to this E equal to 4.445 m NF. This is called the EMF equation of a transformer. Okay. Now some useful formulas. So after you derive this one, just put some 1 2 sign for this primary or secondary quantities. You will get the all RMS voltage. Like the primary RMS voltage is, if we just replace it by E1, 4.44, 5m is remain constant because 5m is constant for both the primary winding. So which will change only in this equation for this primary quantities only?
Sir, the number of turns.
Very good. Only the number of turns, because apart from this one, everything is remain constant. So this would be N1. So E1 equal to 4.44 phi m N1F is the EMF equation of the primary side. So you see the primary RMS voltage is E1 equal to 4.44 phi m F N1. The secondary RMS voltage is E2 equal to 4.44 phi m F N2. B equal to phi m by A. What is this one? What is phi m? Phi m is the maximum number of flux flowing through the core. Now, if we divide this maximum amount of flux by A, which is the cross-section area of the core, then we can get the flux density. That is very easy to understand. Phi is the maximum flux, which is maximum number of lines of flux, which is actually flowing through the core. So if we just divide it by core cross-section area A, then we get the flux density. So where Bm is the maximum flux density in the magnetic core in Tesla. Tesla equal to one of the unit of the magnetic core. The flux density. It may be either Weber per meter square or Tesla. Both are same. Tesla is nothing but Weber. Weber means the flux per meter square in cross section area. So Tesla or Weber per meter square, both will give you the same marks. A, the area of cross section of the core in square meter. Phi is m is the maximum flux density in the. It's not the maximum flux density. I need to correct this one. It should be maximum flux in the magnetic core in Weber. So remember one thing: flux always in Weber, flux density always in Tesla or Weber per meter square. Okay, so 1 Tesla equal to 1 Weber per meter square. Now the definition: the winding with higher number of turns. So from this one, when the E1 become more compared to E2, what is the deciding factor in this equation? Just compare
So
this.
যখন N1
sir,
greater than N2 হবে।
Yes, so just compare these two equation. You see everything is remain same apart from N1 and N2. 4.44 is remain constant, 5m constant, F constant. So only this number of turns decided which induced voltage become more. So you see the winding with higher number of turns will have a high voltage, and it is called the high voltage or HV winding. The winding with lower number of turns will have a low voltage, and it is called the low voltage winding or LV winding. Voltage per turns. Now what is this one? So voltage per turns in both the windings is same. This is a very, very important terminology or point you need to remember in your whole life, that in case of a transformer, the voltage per turn is same. Okay, what is the meaning of this one? Suppose in case of primary winding, I have 5 turns. Okay, and say in case of secondary winding, I have 10 turns. Okay, say it's equal to 10 turns. Now, which winding produce more amount of voltage?
Sir, the second.
The second one, second
Second
one,
one.
যার
Second winding,
number of
because as
turns
the
বেশি
second
হবে।
winding have more number of turns, so
Because,
obviously
sir,
the V2 will be more compared to V1. But as it is written, the voltage per turns in both the windings are same. It means that here you see how many number of turns? 5 number of turns. So whatever be the, that means 1 minute please, it's very difficult to one. So
স্যার
if
একটা
we
কোয়েশ্চেন
measure-
আছে।
1 minute. So if we measure the voltage across this single turn, and if we measure the voltage across this single turn, that will be same. Okay, the meaning here is that voltage per turns in the primary as well as in the secondary windings is remain constant. Okay, and this voltage V2 and V1, it is actually the voltage across the winding, not across the turns. Okay, these are actually the voltage across the winding. That's why they may be differ from each other depending upon the number of turns. But if we take a single turn in the primary as well as in the secondary side, and if we just measure the voltage across these turn, that will be definitely same in both the windings. Now এবার বলো question.
স্যার ট্রান্সফরমারের মধ্যে ইএমএফ কতটা ইনডিউসড হবে তো সেটা এসি কারেন্ট কতক্ষণ ধরে আমরা মানে সাপ্লাই করছি তার উপর ডিপেন্ড করে না, মানে
No.
টাইমের উপর?
This 1 minute. What are the electrical quantity which is related with time? Voltage is related with time. So obviously no. If we just switch on this thing, instantly the voltages appear across the terminals. Current, if we apply some voltage, if the circuit is closed, current will instantly flow through this one. One thing is depend, which is called the energy. Energy is power consumption into time. That's why how much time you are actually using the AC in your home or using the fridge in your home, depending upon this one, you need to pay the bill to the electric supply agency. Okay, so this energy is depend upon time. In case of transformer, if we just give the supply, instantly get the output voltage based on the characteristics of the transformer, maybe step up, maybe step down. So it's not depend upon the time.
ওকে স্যার।
Now, so voltage per turns is same for both the winding. That's how we may write 1 minute. That's how you can write E1 by N1. So this E1 by N1, what is this? This is the voltage per turns in the primary winding. E2 by N2, it is the voltage per turn in the secondary winding. They are actually same. So E1 by N1 is equal to E1 by E2, or we can write, and this equation is also very popular equation in case of transformer. You need to remember this one also, E1 by E2 equal to N1 by N2. This one is coming from the upper equation. E1 by E2 equal to N1 by N2. Now this N1 by N2 is called the turns ratio of the transformer. Okay. In some of the books, the turns ratio is denoted by small m. In some of the books, the turns ratio is denoted by small a. So whatever be the symbol used to denote this turns ratio, you need to remember this N1 by N2 is called the turns ratio, not the N2 by N1. Primary number of turns by the secondary number of turns is actually the turns ratio of the transformer. Okay, now what is called primary, what is called secondary? Turns, it is called the turns ratio. Turns ratio here I denoted as A. In some of the books, different symbols. Generally, some small letters are used to denote this turns ratio. And E1 by E2 equal to N1 by N2. Okay. Now, what is called the step-up transformer? A transformer in which the output or the secondary voltage is greater than its input or the primary voltage is called the step-up transformer, which is required to power transmission purpose. Step-down transformer, a transformer in which the output or the secondary voltage is lower than its input or primary voltage is called the step-down transformer. In case of power distribution purpose, we need the step-down transformer. Okay. So up to this, all the EMF equation and the definition, the turns ratio, the number of turns, the step up, step down, all these things is discussed. Okay. Any query up to this? Then we will go for the next section, which is called the no load operation of the transformer. Now, what is called the no load operation of the transformer? And in this particular chapter, you need to know the operation of the no load operation of the transformer, and you need to draw the no load phasor diagram. Okay. Now, what is called this no load operation of the transformer? Just look here. Okay. If we just delete this particular load, if the load terminal become open circuited, then what about this I2?
Sir, I2 becomes 0.
Any doubt? Because total 28 students are present, why only one student should answer? So anybody apart from this one, that's any doubt that I2 becomes 0 if we open circuit the load terminal? Karo doubt thakle bolo tale. So obviously, if the load is removed, if the load terminals become open circuited, then I2, that means the winding current becomes zero. No doubts are there. So if the I2 is zero, then what is the power consumption by the secondary side?
So zero.
Zero. Now, if I2 equal to zero, what about this I1? We apply some voltage. We definitely apply some of the voltage V1. But if the secondary side is open circuited, then what about this I1?
স্যার I1 তো জিরো হবে না।
কেন?
স্যার I1 জিরো হওয়া উচিত কজ পাওয়ার কনস্ট্যান্ট, সো এইদিকের পাওয়ার যদি জিরো হয়ে যায় তাহলে ওইদিকে
V1, say V1 I1 equal to V2
I2
I2, because power equal to same. Now if I2 equal to 0, then this side equal to 0. So we apply some of the non-zero voltage V1, so I1 equal to 0. This is the theoretical thing, that if the secondary is not connected with the load, there is no current flowing through this one. But in case of practical transformer, as you see, this is a winding, so winding is closed, and if we just apply some of the AC voltage across this winding, some AC current will flow through it, and this flux will generate. Now to produce this flux, very less amount of current will flow compared to the normal I1, and this current is called the no load current. Okay, so generally the no load current is very small, 3 to 5% of the full load current. What is the meaning of this one? Suppose in normal case, when you connect some load, then if this ampere is 10, in the primary current is 10 ampere, then if we just disconnect this one to produce, we magnetize the core, very small amount of current, say 2 to 3 ampere of current, even less, this one will flow through this particular winding, and this current is called the no load current, and this is denoted by I0. Okay.
স্যার
Yes.
স্যার how you will measure the no load current?
Yes, we can measure the no load current. Last day we measured it using the open circuit test. So in case of
Oh,
transformer, if
okay.
we just open circuit the particular terminal, particular winding, high voltage or low voltage winding, then what happened? Using the voltmeter, using the ammeter placed in the other winding, we definitely measured the no load current. And let me see who can able to remember that in case of no load operation or the open circuit operation, open circuit test of the transformer, which side is open circuited and where we placed our measuring devices, ammeter, wattmeter and voltmeter. Which side is open circuited, high voltage side or the low voltage side? So look here, the no load current is very small generally. So we actually want to measure a very low current, and transformer has two sides. In one side the current is low and another side the current is high. So if you want to measure a very small amount of current, which side you prefer? Obviously we choose the high current side, and high current side means low voltage.
হ্যালো স্যার।
হ্যালো,
হ্যালো
হ্যালো
স্যার।
Hello, sir.
সবারই গেছে, সবারই
Are you
গেছে,
there?
সবারই গেছে।
হ্যালো স্যার।
সায়ন স্যারকে একটা মেসেজ দে বা কল দে। সায়ন তো বেরিয়ে গেল রে, স্যারও নেই।
স্যার বেরিয়ে গেল নাকি রে?
স্যারের কানেকশন প্রবলেম হবে হয়তো। সায়ন কল করলি?
হ্যাঁ স্যার
এবার কানেক্টেড আছে তো?
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা।
ওকে, কতদূর বলেছিলাম তাহলে? হ্যালো,
Yes.
হ্যালো,
হ্যালো স্যার, হ্যালো।
হ্যাঁ স্যার
হ্যালো স্যার।
হ্যাঁ শুনতে পাচ্ছিস তো?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
কতদূর বলেছিলাম?
স্যার ওই কোয়েশ্চেনটা জাস্ট অ্যান্সার করা স্টার্ট করেছিলেন যে
Oh,
কোন
so
সাইডে দাঁড়িয়ে।
in which side we placed our measuring instrument? So definitely, as the no load current is very small, so we should choose the side of the transformer where the current is itself high. So we should, high means current high means voltage low. So that means in this no load operation, we should open circuit the high voltage terminal and we should place our measuring devices like the ammeter, wattmeter and voltmeter in the low voltage side to measure this small amount of current. Now, when the alternating voltage is applied to the primary side in no load condition, a small current I0 flows in the primary. So this current I0 is called the no load current. So obviously very easy to understand, no load current. So no load means the secondary is open circuited. So in that condition, whatever be the current flows in the primary side is called the no load current. Now this no load current is made up of two components. One is I mu, another is IW. The component I mu is called the magnetizing component.
স্যার অ্যাকচুয়ালি ইওর
স্যার
প্রেজেন্টেশন ইজ অফ।
আপনার প্রেজেন্টেশনটা দেখা যাচ্ছে।
Oh, আমার presentation. 1 minute, sorry. এবার দেখা যাচ্ছে তো?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ।
This component I mu is called the magnetizing component. It actually magnetizes the core, and in other words, it sets up the flux in the core, and therefore I mu is in phase with the flux. So what happened when we apply some AC voltage across the winding of the transformer while the secondary side is open circuited, the flux will generate. So that means one component is there, or one part of the current is there among the I0, which is actually magnetizes the core, which is actually produce the flux, and some other component is there which is actually supplying the active losses in the core. So the component which is supplying the active losses or cater the active losses, this is called IW. So this IW is actually cater the hysteresis and eddy current loss, and in case of negligible I square R loss in the primary winding. And this I mu is actually sets up the flux in the core. Okay. So it is in phase with the applied voltage V1 because this one is actually responsible, this IW is actually responsible for producing the active losses. Active losses means the resistive loss, obviously. So that means it is in phase with the applied voltage V1, because you know in case of resistance, the voltage and current is in phase. And as I mu is sets up the flux, so that means I mu is in phase with the flux. Okay. So this is the no load operation. So in case of no load operation, very small amount of current will flow through the transformer primary winding. This is called I0. I0 constitute two current. One is I mu, another is IW. I mu supplies the flux in the core. IW supplies the eddy current and hysteresis losses inside the core. Okay. Now phasor diagram at the no load. So if we understand the phasor diagram, that operation will be understood better. The phasor phi m is taken as the reference phasor. As I mentioned earlier, that as this phi is fluxed, they're fixed in the primary as well as in secondary winding, so we should take it as the reference. So for a transformer on no load, we have phi equal to phi m sin omega t. This is obviously some AC flux will generate. This is the formula for basic AC. Phi equal to phi m sin omega t, and we have the from the EMF equation, we have this equation also, E1 equal to E1m sin omega t minus pi by 2, and E2 equal to E2m sin omega t minus pi by 2, because this thing equation we have already derived. This E equal to the induced voltage equal to Em sin omega t minus pi by 2. So just in case of E, if we write the 1 and 2, it will become the induced voltage in case of primary as well as in the secondary side. And this is equal to E1 equal to E1m sin omega t minus pi by 2 and E2 equal to E2m sin omega t minus pi by 2. So how to draw this thing? How to draw it in the phasor? So first of all, we take phi as our reference. So this is our phi. You can say phi m. In which direction we placed the E1 and E2? From this equation, can somebody tell me in which direction we placed the E1 and E2?
Sir, in negative y.
Not negative one, that E1 and E2 should be lagged from phi. Because
Lag from phi, yes sir.
how? Because you see, what is the phase
Correct.
angle of the phi? Phase angle of the phi can be determined by this quantity. After sign, whatever is placed, this is called the phase angle. So here you see the phi equal to phi m sin omega t. So that means the phase angle here is phi m. This is called the reference. And this one you see omega t minus pi by 2 is there. As this term is there, so that means it is lagging from this flux by a 90-degree angle. Why lagging? Because minus sign, plus hole ki holo leading hoto. Now this one also lags from phi by pi by 2 angle, and lags means it's a clockwise direction. Lagging means clockwise direction, leading means anti-clockwise direction. So you see, that's why E1 and E2 both are in that direction. Okay, both E1 and E2 are in that direction. But why the magnitude is different? Because this one is dependent upon the number of turns. We are talking about the power transformer. So among the E1 and E2, among this E1 and E2, somebody is obviously more compared to the other. So here you consider E2 is more. We are talking about a step up transformer. So that's why I draw it like this. But this is not mandatory. But remember one thing, that never placed E1 and E2 in the same magnitude. E1 and E2 should be differ from each other. They are actually depending upon the trans ratio. Now this angle is 90 degrees. They are actually lagging from phi. Okay. After placing this one, E1 and E2, some steps are there. If you just follow the step, that complicated figure looks very easy to draw. What about V1? What is V1? What is V1? So V1 is the supply voltage of the transformer. If we apply the supply voltage across a winding, some voltage will induced across this E1. Some voltage is induced across this winding. This is called the primary induced voltage, which is written here, and V1 is the supply voltage. And after this one, some flux will generate through this core, and another winding is there. This is called the secondary winding, and some voltage is induced here. This is called the secondary induced voltage E2. And if the secondary circuit is closed, then some current will flow, some terminal voltage we can exist across a transformer. This is the magnetic core. Now, as it is open circuit, so obviously the current is zero here. The voltage is obviously same voltage. So we have already plotted this one, E1, E2, and phi. We have already plotted to this figure. How to draw E2? How to draw V1? What is the relation between E1 and V1? Anybody from Lenz law? Hello? Yeah, I'm connected. Okay. So you people know these things, but relax to answer. If I take a winding like this one, okay. If we apply a AC source across this winding, suppose this is equal to V, and current is flow through this one. After suppose after 1 hour, what we observe, or after 10 minutes, what we observe? Now you tell me. This is a simple inductor L, or you can say this is a simple coil L. We connect a voltage source, AC voltage source V across it, and after some time, what do you observe?
Sir, the potential across the inductor is same as the.
Very good, correct answer. So after some time, initially obviously it takes some
Yes,
time,
sir.
as you know
Yes,
that
sir.
this time domain analysis of the RL circuit is there.
Yes, sir. Pointed.
So initially some current will flow, but after some time, after the steady state, when the steady state is arrived, then this potential across the inductor become the same as the supply voltage, and in that time, this current becomes zero. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
similarly, just take it as the transformer. This is the winding of the transformer. So just take it as the transformer. So what is the relation between E and V?
Sir, it's di by dt.
No. What is the relation between V and E? This applied voltage and induced voltage.
Sir,
Here,
V equal to E.
V equal to E. Very good.
Yes, sir.
So V equal to E. Now according to Lenz's law, what will be the polarity of this E? So the polarity of the E is it actually try to oppose the current flow through it.
Current flow. Yes,
So
sir.
that means in a particular time, if this one is positive, because AC doesn't have any direction, but it has a positive negative direction, it all continuously changes. So in a particular moment, if this side is positive, that side is also become positive. Okay. So that means we can write E equal to minus E or V equal to minus E. You know why this minus sign is there? Because these two things actually oppose to each other. So in phasor diagram, how to draw this thing? If this one is V, how to draw E? Suppose if this one is E, how to draw V?
স্যার তার অপোজিট ডাইরেকশন।
Sir, opposite direction.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
বলো না তোমরা জানো সবকিছু। So you see, you people able to answer this one, but if I ask you this time, nobody answer. So now we already draw the E1. E1 is the induced voltage. You want to draw V1. So how to draw this thing? You just extend this line in the opposite direction, and that should be our V1, isn't?
Yes, sir.
ইয়েস স্যার।
You see, after I draw this line, this is my flux. Then from this relation, we need to draw E1 and E2. It is actually 90-degree lagging, so in that direction. After we draw this one, we need to draw V1 because V1 is just opposite to the E1 and in the negative direction. So obviously some error is there because here you see the E1 magnitude is showing up to this, but V1 magnitude is showing this one. So just forget about the error. I make mistake something, but actually if you want to draw a real perfect figure, that E1 length and that V1 length should be same. Got it? But in the opposite direction, obviously.
Yes, sir.
After I draw all these things, then what happened? Then we need to draw the current. As I mentioned that I0 current will flow in this time, and I0 has two components. One is I mu, another is IW. And it is also discussed that I mu is in phase with I phi mu because this one is actually producing this particular phi or particular flux. So obviously it has a same direction, same phase with this one. So I mu should be placed here. And as this is actually supplying the active losses in the wire, active losses in the core, this should be placed in phase of V1. So after drawing this line, you need to draw the I mu and IW in this way. Then you need to take the summation of these two current to find out the I0 current. So this is the no load current I0 and it produces angle phi 0 between the supply voltage V1 and this is called the no load power factor angle. And cause of this one is called the no load power factor. Okay. So here it is written also, since E1 and E2 are induced by the same flux phi, they will be in the same phase which each other. That's why in the same phase, E2 differs in E1 by the magnitude because we know that E1 by E2 equal to what? E1 by E2 equal to N1 by N2.
N1 by N2. Yes, sir.
And here you see the trans ratio is depend upon by N1 and by N2. So as the N1 and N2 are not same, so they differ. And in the figure, we have already shown this one that some of the magnitude should be more compared to the other. And this is called the no load phasor diagram. Okay, this one is very important, no load phasor diagram. Many times it also came in the semester 5 to 6 marks question. You need to draw the phasor diagram. If it is only 3 marks question, just draw this figure and explain this one. Remember one thing, in the engineering, you need to write your answer based on the marks given in the question. If you know everything in the engineering, then if you try to write everything in the particular paper, you are not getting time to complete all the answer. So that means your answer should be based on the marks given. If it is a 3 marks question, just draw this figure, explain or write the name of everything. Write the name of everything after drawing this figure. Here you write like this: E1 equal to what? E1 equal to primary induced voltage, E2 secondary induced voltage, phi m maximum flux, IW the wattless component of the no load current, I mu equal to watt full component of the no load current, I0 is the no load component, no load current, V1 is the primary applied voltage. So in this way, if you write all these things after the figure, you will get full marks. But if it is a 5 marks question, you just need to write up to this to draw this figure. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So from this diagram, then some rules we need to find out from this figure to do the numerical example. One is very easy to understand, that IW square plus I mu square equal to how much? Equal to I0 square. So I0 equal to root under IW square from this triangle, because this one is IW. So from this
Yes,
square,
sir. Simple vector
Yeah.
addition.
From Pythagoras theorem.
yes. So I mu square root under I mu square plus IW square equal to I0. Second one is the using the phi cos of this one. Okay. So cos phi 0 equal to IW by I mu. And IW equal to I0 cos phi 0, I mu equal to I0 I sin phi 0. So everything, these are very easy to understand from this figure. And this equation, these formulas are required to do the numericals based on the no load component. So also core loss, it's equal to VI cos phi, because the power formula for the AC is nothing but VI cos phi. And here V means the supply voltage, I means the whatever be the current generating in the current circulating in the primary winding, and cos phi 0 is the angle between them. So V into I0, V1 into I0 into cos phi 0, or I0 cos phi 0 means IW. So V1 IW watt. This is called the active power or the core loss. Magnetizing component equal to VI sin phi 0 or VI mu. The unit is VA. Remember this term, that magnetizing power or reactive power is VAR, volt ampere reactive. Active power is always in watt, and apparent power is VA. Apparent power unit is VA, active power watt, and reactive power means the power which is consumed by the inductance and capacitance. It's equal to VA reactive. Okay. And this is called the no load equivalent circuit. Equivalent circuit, in this moment you are not able to understand what is called the equivalent circuit. That is actually the block diagram of the transformer. That is actually the block diagram of the transformer. Now this is for the just illustration purpose only. For electrical engineering, you should not use this figure. Rather, you need to use a detailed figure. So this detailed figure is called the equivalent circuit, where all the components are showing. So in the next day, we'll discuss about this one, that what is called the equivalent circuit and what is the meaning of this one in details. Okay. Now, before I stop, I just want to mention one thing.